Hello, this video is meant to give you an update on what's going on in regards to the on-time payment improvement project. As you remember last video, we talked about the define and measurement, and in this video, I'm going to talk more about the analysis. But before we get there, let's just remember that we mentioned that we were going to use a DMAIC approach, which basically stands for define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. If we remember during the definition, what we did was we make sure that we have clarity around what the problem is, and we agree that the problem that we were going to concentrate on is the supplier not getting paid on time. And we also know that we have a way to measure that. And so during the measurement phase, we basically try to get a baseline, try to have a better understanding on where we are in terms of this metric. And we know that we have a 53% of on-time payment overall. And if we compare that with a potentially 95% target, we can see that we have a gap, right? So we also concluded that it was important to move beyond the blaming game, to make sure that we concentrate on trying to identify what were the causes of that problem, but also to embrace reality, right? To embrace the fact that this is what we have, and to move forward. Now, in the analysis phase, as I mentioned before, we follow this process, which is really a simple process. What I was trying to get is quick results so that we can begin to make progress on the improvement phase. And so quickly, just so that we all remember, we get a preliminary list of potential causes from the leaders, cross-functional leaders, and team members. So we got a list of all the potential causes that are affecting the on-time payment. Secondly, we also clean up that list. We basically, I got together with some of the subject matter experts, and I said, okay, this is the list, but we need to clean it up. And you also nominated people from your function to help me to rank those causes and to kind of vote and identify which one are the most significant. And I said that it was important to get people who were closer to the process because they're the ones who have a much better understanding on what's going on. So those were subject matter experts. And we got responses from 18 people. So 18 people responded to this kind of survey. And then I took all these answers and then I analyzed the data. And then I basically came up based on the data with the top six. And so that's what we're going to review in a minute. So this is pretty much the list of the causes that we identify, right? We have 26 potential causes that the different members of the different teams, meaning finance, supply chain, IT, etc., share services when and classified. And as a result of that, these are the top six, which basically is miscoding within provision and wrong combination leads to integration errors when passing data to some system through the integration. That got the number one spot. The number two is not receiving the invoices from the suppliers on time and at the time of sending it already overdue. Three, invoice senders not sending the invoices immediately. The next one is goods and services not received in the system on time. Tie payment terms agree with suppliers, and then some 6 performance issues with the IP module. So those were the top 6. There's, as you saw before, there's more, but that's where kind of like the breaking point is. Below this 8%, then we start seeing 6%, etc. So the bottom line is, if we concentrate on these 6 potential causes, then the likelihood of seeing a positive change in the on-time payment issue is going to be high. Now, just to finish with this video, let me share some of the thoughts. To conclude on this step. And basically, after I did this, I also had a conversation with some of the subject matter experts to debrief on this. And I asked the question, how confident you are that if we concentrate on trying to improve this top 6, that we're going to see significant improvements on the on-time payment? And all of them responded, we are really, really confident. So that helps us to see that, if we concentrate on that, we're going to be able to see significant improvements. The other thought is, as I mentioned before, we need to embrace the current state and the strategic decision. We need to realize this is the process that we need to improve, meaning we're not going to go back to the old ways of how we probably before we paid the suppliers. Now we have provision, we have shared services, we have new processes, so we need to embrace that. One good news that I discovered is that the shared services through Charlie Calderon and Daisy and the shared service team already developed some metrics that are linked to these top 6 causes. So the good news is that these metrics can help us to facilitate the improvement process, because then if we concentrate on improving those metrics that are linked to those causes, it's going to be easier. Then the next thing I want to share with you, and of course a lot of people that know me understand that I always say don't let perfection get in the way of better, and this is very relevant now because the metrics are not going to be perfect. Let's use the metrics as they are right now. The analysis maybe is not the best. There's other ways that we could have done this, but let's stick to this top 6, work hard the next 6 months, and then stop and adjust. But we need to allow this process to move forward. Yes, we don't have all the resources that we need, but let's try our best. I believe that discipline and accountability at all levels and with different groups is going to be very important to get significant improvements. There is so much to learn from each other. For example, one thing I discovered is Sri Lanka, after implementing provision, had significantly improved the coding errors to levels that are really, really low. So let's be passionate about them and learn and say, okay, what are you guys doing that can help us to become better within our country or within our region? And then the last is trust the continuous improvement process. It will help us to focus on the problem and the causes, and it will set a foundation of practices that will become relevant to operate end-to-end processes in the future. So let's use this issue as a way to become a better team. More to come on this. I just wanted to give you an update on the analysis phase. And thank you very much for your support.